Okay, so I see you ladies. We got into it. We're getting your candles. Remember today? So the full moon was on the 28th, right? So we're on the last day of to get the most potency because it's 3 days. So if you didn't do it yesterday, today's the last day. They start doing to get the potency of what you want to do. So if you have something to share before I go into the topic, you can share with it. If not, I'll go into the topic.
Okay. So I didn't do the spiritual bath. I didn't watch the replay, so I had to go from memory. But I did the forgiveness list, and then I did the cord cutting, burned my list, all that stuff last night. And so today I'll do the spiritual bath, and I've been trying to clean this house all day. My house is about to be under construction because I'm trying to find new places for my shoes and stuff to live. Um, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Okay, what about you, Brian?
I've been working on, like I was saying, working on my forgiveness list and got my candles and cleaned up yesterday. Not everything, but I started cleaning up. Um, I'm doing the cord cutting today, and I'm going to go to the bay and get some water for my spiritual bath.
Awesome. Get water that's you can bathe in. If it's one of those lakes or bodies of water that's toxic, don't it's not worth it. So if
Well, I
you keep
swim
on,
in it, so hopefully it's okay.
okay, good, yeah. So if you can swim in it, cool, uh,
Yeah.
cool. But if it's just, I don't want you just to go to bodies of water because it's a body of water. If it has any signs that the bacteria is too high, don't, it's not worth it. Okay, because sometimes the oceans like that out here in California. I think during the pandemic, like the toxins in the ocean, they told people not to swim. So okay, so what I want to focus on today when it comes to manifestation is this. We are going to do an exercise where we're going to act as if a desired manifestation already happened. So it's going to require some vulnerability and feeling silly, being uncomfortable. Okay? So, what is something that you're trying to manifest?
Go.
Oh, I just realized I had to tell you all about. I've been talking to that guy. We can come back to it later. I forgot to tell you guys about. I've been talking to the guy that my friend introduced me to. Anyway,
Mm.
I just thought remember that. I want to do the exercise though. I'll tell you guys about it later.
Okay, so what are you trying to manifest then?
Husband.
Okay, I don't know. That's why I guess. That's why I'm asking. What about you, Melina?
A rich, sexy, completely available husband, kind.
Okay, so what's the scene that is symbolic to your guy already being here? What's the scene? Is it making breakfast? Is it at the wedding? Is it when your kids are old and your grandparents? Like, what is the scene that symbolize that he's here already?
Hmm.
Okay.
Go
Go.
ahead.
Mine is driving down the PCH, headed to a weekend getaway in Monterey. No, Big Sur, which one of my it's probably my favorite place in the whole wide world. So we're driving down to PCH. He's driving the car. I'm holding his hand in the middle, and on the way we stop at that Taco Bell that I love, just because I always want to be go there with my husband, you know. So we stop at that Taco Bell. We take pictures together and laugh and get a little drunk. And we're like, oh my God, we're too drunk to drive right now. So we're just like, let's go eat dinner and we just hang out. And then we make our way back, on the way down to Big Sur for like glamping, like 4 days of glamping in the forest, going on walks by the ocean, eating good seafood and all that yummy stuff.
All right. What about you, Melina?
So it's just a simple scene. An anniversary of ours, probably 5 years, maybe 10, because we're older. And just looking at the sunset at the beach on a like a swing, a porch swing, holding hands and smiling and just marveling at our life.
All right. So now that you have your scene, what we're going to do now, we're going to feel it and we're going to act as if you're telling it to whoever you like to tell your good news to. Either it's your sister or your girlfriend or one of your prayer partners.
Mhm.
So you're gonna go first, Valari. You're gonna reenact telling your girlfriend, whoever you share your good news to, how it felt doing that, that scene that you just described happening. So I want you to get in the emotions of that scene, and then you're going to tell it to us as if you're telling it to your homegirl about going on the PCH and going to that big cert place. But you need to feel it, you need to act as if, and like, this is what happened, we just came back. So I need you to play that.
Okay. I feel like I'm dampened by my computer out there, but I'll do my best.
Okay.
Oh my God. I feel so happy. I'm so grateful. Like, it was so beautiful. We had so much fun. It was everything that I thought it was going to be. It was like, you remember where I was 6 months ago. It's so nice. I feel like God gave me a blessing after the storm, Like, I love this quote. I always saw on TikTok, it was like, some storms come to clear. And I was like, you know where I was. But it feels so good because it was all worth it. Yeah, I'm happy.
I saw a dog or something. Okay. So your turn.
I am so lucky. I just feel so lucky. I feel like, there was a time where I never thought that the day would come where I would be a wife, that I would be a wife like this. Like, just everything I've ever desired in a marriage, in a life has come to pass. And it just hit me last night when I was with him. We were at the beach after the party, and it hit us both. Like, can you believe this is our life? Can you believe that this is our life? And I'm like, yeah, I can believe it. I prayed for most of my adult life for a man like you. And he said the same. I'm just so incredibly grateful. God is faithful. God has blessed me. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that anything is possible. Like, it's just amazing. Life is amazing.
That's awesome. But are you really gonna be like life's amazing? Are you gonna be like life's amazing?
I probably talk like this.
Oh, you are? Okay, that's how you are? Okay. All right. So when you feel that, are you able to do that once a day in your own life?
Mm-hmm.
I need to
Why do you,
start.
well, like, why do you look like you're like why do you look like that? You're like,
Because you know how
you're
we talked
actually
about
once a day, you're
the
like,
practice in the mornings? I haven't been doing that. Obviously, my whole shift of focus has been like over here. So I was
good.
like, oh, I really need to get back into doing that 5-minute meditation in the morning, at least.
I want the energy you had yesterday. Can we get that energy every day? Like, can you watch the replay where you were at yesterday? Because we need. It seems like one day you're really, it's going great, and then you're somber. So I would like for you to
You think I'm
be.
somber? I'm just hiding from my computer. I don't think I'm somber. Well, anyway, I don't know what I am. Maybe I need to watch the replay to see.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Melina?
Yeah.
Do you see it with your sister?
Mm-hmm. I don't think she's saying you're a somber person. I think she's saying like your moods kind of have gone up and down. It's all good. Just, yeah.
We'll see what happens. I think they're becoming more. I don't know. We'll see. Can't
Oh,
promise you nothing. We'll see.
speaking of that, what about the feedback of your video that I gave you? You said you were going to talk about it later.
Oh yeah, it was great. I feel like okay. So I feel like in this space, what I'm going through. I feel like I just want to talk about what I'm going through and talk about aspects of what I'm going through, and I feel like that's where I need to. That's where I am. That's where I'll be. I'm just gonna do that.
With
I
the
really
coaching,
liked what you said.
with the video, you're gonna
Well,
document
just the
your journey.
content.
Yeah, you're gonna to tell people. Oh, so you're gonna do it with the method of you practicing your own mythologies on yourself. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
talk about aspects of okay, basically what I'm going to do is talk about aspects of my healing around what I'm learning and sharing what I'm learning and what I'm going through, but mostly about like what I'm learning. Like for example, I made a post about like this I think I said in that video, I've uncovered a lot of parts of myself that were I'm like, "Oh." So just talking about what those things were and how I am fixing them, healing them, growing from them, and what I plan to do in the future. Just a lot of content around this, this kind of stuff around not loving yourself enough to where your boundaries are not where they need to be, and someone comes in and boop, and then you realize, oh, I need to do this, that, and the third, and I need to be this new person. And how do we become that new person? How do we adopt new behaviors and new practices? And how do we love ourselves? How do we find self-worth? That's what my content is going to be about.
Yeah, because you had at least 2 comments when I read it, and that's really good. I don't know how much more now has since the time has passed, but I think that's good. People sharing, resonating with what you're doing. So I'm excited to see what would happen if you do this for 30 days.
Yeah, that's a plan. I feel like that's part of my healing and part of my purpose and part of the purpose of this thing that happened is to I kind of feel like, I was searching for purpose, like what feels most authentic. And I feel like this feels so authentic and I like it. This feels so like me and real and raw and purposeful and impact other people, help other people, resonates. And I feel like I'm just gonna stay in this for 30 days. I feel like you talked about manifesting for 28 days, right? We're doing our clearing today. I kind of feel like we're doing the clearing clean today. We're cleaning up. And then tomorrow we're just stepping into something new, right? So I feel like I'm going to do 30 days starting tomorrow, even though I've been posting steady, but 30 days starting tomorrow and seeing what fruit comes forth.
Yes, because when you coach your clients, you're going to have to hold them accountable to consistency. So when you say, you're going to feel confident that you're in integrity, that you did something for 30 days despite life
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my moral focus. Yeah. And yeah, I feel really good. I feel really ick that like I was telling you, like how did I let myself do that? Like where was I? Or what was I thinking? Like how the fuck did that happen? But
That's
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 something.
good that you got that way, because prior to there, you're like, what? Really? I was like, flying. Are you not disgusted? So now you're becoming. Do you see what I'm saying? You did the
Say it
work.
more.
So prior to it, you were looking at me and asking me, how can you do this? And I'm just like, you're not disgusted. You're not turned off by that type of treatment. And now you're in disgust mode. So
Yeah.
your body, your value. If you don't know your worth more, you won't get angry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When you're angry, you deserve better, right? So that's
Yeah.
your body protecting yourself. But prior to that, you were in, I wouldn't say the word despair, but in confusion. You're like, why this? Why that? But now you're like, screw that. Who the heck does so and so think they are? Because
Yeah.
you know your value.
Yeah. And I had oh my God. Well, I just been having a lot of really wonderful epiphanies. And it's almost like, yeah, the shackles are like falling off. And it's a really good feeling to where I'm like, what? It's very confusing to me. So I'm working through forgiveness of how did you ever do that? But that's part of it. And I'm learning
But
to be,
remember, you were performing from the consciousness that you had at that time. As soon as your consciousness improved, your actions matched your consciousness. So if you ever wonder, like, how did I do that? You did that because you didn't know any better. If you knew what you knew now, would you have made the same choices?
fuck no. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's incredibly helpful. Yeah, and I've been practicing joy. This is one thing I'm going to write about, do content around. I've been practicing things just to make me happy. I'm like, wow, this really does work. Like dropping coins in the bucket, like spending time with my son, going to the spa, talking to my friend. Like I called my friend from South Africa. Usually he has to call me and he's like, how come I always have to call you, unless you need relationship advice. But I called him and like, it led to this other guy who, I'm not trying to rush, obviously not trying to rush into anything, but it's nice having somebody like genuinely checking in on you. Like, how are you? You know what I mean? Y'all know. And it helps, it's a drop in the bucket. It's like, oh, that's nice.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. So do you feel loved up like a goddess though? Do you feel like you're being treated like one
Man, it
goddess?
helps.
Okay. Okay, Miss
It's only been
Millennial.
a day, but yeah.
Wait, see, that's another thing. I've noticed a pattern with you. I've noticed a pattern with the minimization. We don't say it's just this. Everything is leading to your destination of your manifestation. When Melania said, oh, only 60 something people like my post, only 63 people, that's a big deal, especially when you've been MIA for a certain amount of time. You
Yep.
keep on doing 63 people every day, at least I would say 10% of those people are going to buy something from you that's a high package and it's going to be worth it. But
Yeah.
Melania, you were
Or-
saying something when
Oh, well, when you said that, is that the reaction that you're gonna have? I'm like, maybe I could rev up the emotion. Like when I do my meditations, feel the joy deeper, feel the excitement more deeply, you know?
yeah. Like, let's say, for example, you manifested $1 million, right, in your bank account, right? Because manifestation is not about how it happens. It's just you just are focused on
Mhm.
the goal. So,
Right.
like, so you want me to replay something? You want me to replace it? So, say $1 million gets into my bank account. This is
Mhm.
what I'm gonna be like. Okay, hold on 1 second. Girl, 1 million, 1 million.
Silly. Ah, yes. The funny thing is, I probably would be dancing around the house. I would,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's
because
like
I have many a time.
that's not my reenacting. We
Yeah.
ain't doing no safe. So if your husband's like, girl, I can't believe this. We were struggling with these Pookies and Ray Rays, and I finally got a good brother. I finally
Yeah.
got a good man. He is so yummy, so handsome. He just texted me right now, a little cute little thing. I'm so grateful where
Yeah.
I am
Okay, let me
right
try it again. Let me do it again.
now. Okay, yes.
So I can't put it out too far because the 10 years felt like, we've been doing this thing. I've been
Right.
excited. Okay, so I'm gonna say we just got married. Okay. Or we're about to get married or something closer. Oh my God. Oh my God. I am so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful. Do you know? I have been praying for a man like, let me tell you, he came with this bright height, complexion, everything, personality. Our values are like this. The man is rich, he is well to do. And he came to me with generosity. He asked me how much I needed a month, okay? Before we even, okay, like every single thing that I prayed for in a mate, in a man, he is and more. He's hilarious. He keeps me laughing. He's so kind and he's so good with the Dara. Like, you know how she doesn't talk to anybody? He has her laughing. He has
Mm-hmm.
her kikiing and talking and like being open. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing. I think, no, I know that number one, God's hand is in this because the things that I put on my list, the things that I kept praying for and meditating for, it was exponentially more. Like, the man loves to clean. Do you remember that? How I said that nobody wants a messy wife? The man loves to clean, and he's so like, he doesn't, all of my flaws that I thought were flaws, he either thinks they're cute or doesn't think they're flaws at all. Like, he's already asking me about the team that I need to keep the house up. Okay.
Cleaning support, personal
Cleaning
support.
support, nutritional support, family support. His mother is amazing. I prayed for a good mother-in-law, a good father-in-law. His mom is so sweet. And she's funny just like him. Like, the two of them keep me laughing. And his dad. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. And y'all, I'm just so, I want to cry, but I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to mess up my makeup or whatever. But I got everything I prayed for.
See that contrast. Did you see how you should watch the replay and see how your facial expression changed from the
It was way different. Yeah.
see?
Yeah, I put it off too far down the road.
I should have timed it when you did it, did a timer, but that was less than 5 minutes. You can't make that sacrifice every day for the remaining of the program.
Yeah.
You got a mirror. You can talk to your mirror. Your higher self will be the mirror. That's what we'll do. That's what we're going to add. So I feel like when I do this the next go around, which you ladies are obviously invited for the next cohort, it will be adding stuff versus doing everything from the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like going forward, you should add this exercise daily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially now that we have cleared out so much stuff as we're doing this cleansing. I feel like it's just going to be like cooking with gas now.
Right
Yeah.
in the morning when you're still in that haze, and then right before you go to bed. I know it's going to be hard because life happens, but if you're able to do 10 minutes a day, telling the universe what you want, you'll be shocked how that's going to build stuff. Because then once you attract your person, you need to maintain him. So then you're going to, then there's another challenge. But then at that time, we'll, do another program at that time. But the first goal is to attract the fish, attract the big fish.
Yeah. Yeah. That was fun.
See? So it doesn't, and how much did that cost you to go into your imagination and create like what you want?
Nothing. But see, doing the love letters and doing the meditations has definitely got me into, more contact with him as a real person. So it's easier to access the feelings now than it was, like a month or 2 months ago.
But did you see what you said? You said doing those exercises makes it easier, which is like what it's like going to the gym, right? Yeah. But doing those exercises costs you no money. You can go on YouTube and find those, what do you call it? Those what do you call those meditation, talking meditation, or whatever it's called. But there's so much resources. What I'm trying to tell you, there's no excuse of doing these things since it costs you nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Falai, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about the pain of what I just went through and the intensity of it and how great it is because it's my awakening, I feel like, and I'm feeling like really like grateful. More than I'm feeling in pain, I'm feeling grateful and just like fucking finally. I feel like, y'all know, whenever you put an intention on the world, whatever is blocking that is going to come out, it's going to come up. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that I'm finally learning whatever the fuck I've been doing all this time. I'm just really like, it feels like if you get stuck in the rain and you finally get to a warm place and you take off your wet clothes, you're like, oh, finally, like, this feels so good. I can like get warm. I feel like that. So it feels painful, but also not like I'm crying. I had a big epiphany, which was really great. I realized that I'm not heartbroken, I told y'all that yesterday. I was really scared that I was going to be heartbroken and be like, but I'm not. And I'm really grateful for that. At least I had the sense to, not be totally like No. So I'm really grateful for that because I feel like I'm like ready to go. You know what I mean? I'm not like and So I'm feeling really grateful, and if the energy feels really potent, and I'm excited about doing my cleansing today, and I start excited about what happens starting tomorrow. That's what.
Well,
That's what.
speaking about cleansing, how's your water fast, Melina?
It was going well until I got super hungry, and I didn't totally do bad, but I drank. My daughter had some pho, the Vietnamese pho soup.
Mm-mm.
It's a soup. I had some soup today, but it had bean sprouts in it and nothing else, and beef broth. So I don't feel that badly, but I was kind of upset that I
But I was thinking
did it.
about you. Remember how we are saying when you focus on the physical cleansing or the physical decluttering, doing any
Uh-huh.
type of weight loss thing is going to be easier. So
Yeah,
instead of focusing on the water fast for now, get your space, spick and span. So then you have, because imagine when you do a water fast, you're irritated. Even if you do a juice cleanse or any type of cleanse, you're
yeah,
irritated. Then you're going
yeah,
to come to your house and you see all these irritants. So you're going to want to feel good.
yeah. Very
Mm.
true.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is this. So now that you visualize what type of person that you want, I mean, how they're going to come into your life, how are we doing with our boundaries and standards? You're A-okay? Okay, good, good. You're doing good. Awesome, awesome.
I made a
So,
whole list, like an exhaustive list, like I was like, we're never going to do this again. We're always going to do this. This is the bare minimum. Yada yada yada.
what about you, Melina?
I think it would be good for me to write a list because I don't really have a list. I have Melina's green flags.
Okay.
I have a document, and it's like the things that are a go for me, but I guess I could write things that are deal breakers. For me, the most important part of boundaries is actually stating them, and so my challenge is stating them in a way that doesn't feel like one, a gold digger, like I gotta have $5,000 or you're out, but feels feminine yet firm. Um, because a boundary is stated. For somebody to know you have a boundary, you have to tell them. So, like, say a man said, I'm gonna call you tomorrow at 7 p.m., right?
Mhm.
7 p.m. rolls around, 8 p.m., 10 p.m., you don't get a call. And the next day you get a text like, good afternoon, beautiful, or something like that. Like, what
Mhm.
would you do? What would you say to him?
If a man was supposed to text me the next day and he
He was
didn't,
supposed to call you at 7 the
mhm.
night before. You get no call. He texts you the next day, like, good morning, beautiful, or good afternoon, beautiful, or whatever.
I'll be like, I would say, I, I just think you go first. So this is our first date after the first date, or what?
It could be the
Like,
first date, it could be the fifth date.
I would be like, oh, I'm disappointed. Um, I'm disappointed that I was expecting your what do you call it? That you. No, let me think about this.
Hmm.
I would take note, and I probably would have replied to it. I would have replied back to his message until the next day, right? So I'll match his energy. So I would match his energy. So if he was supposed to show up to me, right, and I'll be turned off by that trait, right? So I would give a day because I like to not be impulsive. So I would be
Hmm.
like, if you text in the morning, I wouldn't respond. So then the next day, I'll be like, just FYI, as you can know that I shared with you even though I wouldn't have given I wouldn't be in this situation in the first place because I won't give my number. But in your hypothetical, I think that when you first met me, I shared with you my intention is marriage. So every interaction with all the guys I deal with, I'm discerning who's going to be my future spouse. And I feel with these traits that you've shown, we're not a good match. I wish you well. I'm looking forward to somebody
Okay.
who can, who can follow through, so they don't commit and I don't want to do a whole paragraph, but I'll try to just do it in succinct, where it's two sentences or no
Yeah.
less. Wait a day, 2 sentences, and wish him well.
But what if he's like, no, 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 hold on, because last night I was in the hospital with my cousin. He broke his big toe, and I couldn't call you because I dropped the phone in the sewer, and then they just fished my phone
Got
out.
other than to love at the moment. Got other priorities.
Okay, so like a hard and fast boundary. You didn't
Yes.
fulfill your word. You're
Yeah,
next.
yeah, because think about it, everything's a sign. That's a micro red flag.
Okay.
If you think about it, the whole point isn't to make all the men stay there the whole time. The whole point is to get signals: are we compatible or not? So now he might have the intention of doing it, but he overpromised what he can deliver. That's another red flag. You're not even honest with yourself about where you're at. So you might want to be that guy that's heck romantic, but you don't have the energy bandwidth to
Right.
sustain that. That's another. So he might not be a bad person, but he still has some work to. That's not a good suitor for me. I'd rather be
Gotcha.
somebody that would be like, listen, just FYI from my past situations with women. I just want you to know I might not be the one checking in as we're getting to know each other. I might not be checking in as much as you might be used to, but it doesn't mean I don't fine. I'm not interested in you. It's just how my personality is. I'm more of
Hmm.
a I see you in person, we chat. I rather do with somebody like that because then they're very aware and they're managing my expectations, which is a
Hmm.
leader. A leader
Yeah.
manages your expectations.
Yeah, I love your response. So that's where I want to learn more, like
Okay.
identifying micro red flags that need to be deal breakers. I feel
Okay.
like in the past I have seen the micro red flags and kept going. Let him tell me the excuse, or in the back of my mind I'll say, oh well, he's still a good guy, he's still, really this, really that, and then do that all the way down into the rabbit hole. So identifying micro red flags, and then also having the communication skills to communicate the boundary
Okay.
without ghosting, like whether or not we ever see each other again or not, just for my own growth as a woman. Hey, I'm into guy. I really pegged you. This is how I would respond. I really pegged you for a man who keeps his word, and it's kind of disappointing, but holla, like,
Well, you remember it's an art and not a science. So no matter it's not this is not a novel, so obviously everything's not going to be perfectly or beautifully said, but
mhm,
the point is the more you do it, you're going to find your own little rhythm and do it. So even if it's not as great as you like, at least you said it versus ruminating it.
exactly.
But
So,
yeah, but I appreciate you saying that. I can't create like a script, so then you can just customize it in the future. So that's what I'm talking about. While we're waiting for our husband, the eggs are boiling on the pot. These things that you just mentioned are the things that's going to remove us from looking in front of the stove and seeing them
yeah.
boil. So while
Yeah.
we're getting our skills up, you see what I'm saying? So that's a great suggestion, Melina. What about yourself, Alai?
I love having role play. I think we should do more role playing with red flags and boundaries. I'm finding that really helpful.
Mhm.
I That's really helpful.
Okay.
And role playing in general, like I want to. I'm not even gonna say I'm talking to this guy because honestly, I want to know how to approach real life situations. Like what WWSD? What would Shameless do? you know,
Oh
that's what I
yeah.
want to do.
Okay, so what about you're at the movie theaters and he's like rubbing on your arms and trying to kiss your neck and stuff, and he's cute, but you're not there yet to be all like that. What are you gonna do then?
I'd be like, I find you really attractive, but you're moving too fast. Can we slow down? Like I like you, but I don't feel comfortable with that right now.
What about you, Belena?
Okay, I was about to do it in a joking way. I just feel like, okay, no, normally I'll just say things with my body language, like literally grab his wrist and put it back in his own
Right.
area, or just, yeah, I'm not, you're going way too fast for me. And normally the body language ends it, like he doesn't try again.
But what if I told you being in a movie theater is not not a good spot in the first place to go?
Is this for a first date?
Or any date, it's not good to go if you're trying to be abstinent.
Oh,
Oh
that's yes.
no,
Tell
so
us.
sad. But okay.
Tell us.
The reason why I say this is if you're doing my stringent thing where you're starving him of affection because the goal is to incentivize him to marry you as quickly as possible, you want to
Mhm.
remove yourself from any places where he will feel the gall to do that, right?
Okay.
And so movie theater is very seductive. It's dark. There's sometimes the time of day that you go, there's not a lot of people in there. So it's not a good spot because you're not even getting to know that person, just watching a movie. Like that's
Right.
great, like when you're already married. Or if you don't believe in marriage, you're already in an exclusive relationship, right?
Mhm.
But it's the first thing about boundaries is to prevent yourself from being in situations where you have to exert it.
Mhm. Yeah. So what are good date ideas? Like dinner?
A museum
Mhm.
where you can have stories. Any place where you can have stories. So
Okay.
museum, um, a festival, a concert. Remember, you want to be wine and dine. Remember, you're the goddess archetype. That's the archetype you chose, right? So going to the beach and just kicking rocks, those aren't. We're not in high school no more.
Well, so a museum is not whining and dining though, but you're saying
No, it's
there's
not. Yeah, you're right. It's not wine. What I meant by one that is something that requires effort.
mhm.
So he
Yeah.
has to Google, like experience. So not wind up, but an experience.
Okay.
So something that you can have a story about, something that's avant-garde. So museum. What other thing is this? Paint and sip activities.
Okay.
So activities where it requires somebody to register, check you in, register you to something, where you both have to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Hmm. I like that.
So
No
when he
family.
asks you, when he
Mhm.
says, I want to take you out, usually the first question is, what kind of food do you like? Like, how do you answer that so he is
I,
thinking,
I would say, I'm flattered that you want to take me out, but I
mhm,
feel what works best for me is I would like to get to know you in different settings,
mhm,
and so I feel like we should, um, what's the word? Delay the eating out until like we get to know each other more. I really want to like see you in your essence, so I would recommend like you can go to a theme park. That's cute. Going to a theme park, a
mhm,
festival, a fair, um, a museum, or there's so many different types of museums. You got history museums, you got
mhm.
those fancy museums, uh, a celebrity tour if you're in that area, um, a concert. Like there's different stuff. Like he needs to spend money, but it doesn't need to be a lot. But it does require him to register because you want this man to associate you that you need to put in effort. This is not something where you just wing it.
Yeah. Okay.
A zoo. Because I remember I dated this one fella, and it was a micro red flag. He didn't want to go to the zoo. He just
What was
wanted
his
to went
reasoning?
out to eat, huh?
What was his reasoning for not doing the
He didn't
zoo?
give me a reason. He just didn't want to go. But if you think about it, a zoo is very requires intimacy. Like it requires you to get to know somebody. You really need to like that person compared to going to a mid-level restaurant. You eat your food, you talk, and it's out. But a zoo, you gotta go, you gotta register, you gotta walk around, see the animals. So you really need to like that person to want to go to a zoo.
Yeah. But see,
You did my
I
nails.
want him to do the work of finding the event. So
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm
in a zoo for me doesn't feel high effort at all. It's like meet
It
me at the
doesn't.
zoo. Mm-mm. Not at least not the DC zoo.
You're
It's
like,
like
don't.
it's
Okay,
like walking around the zoo.
I'm
Hmm?
gonna just give you an example. Okay, you might not like this.
like, get me out of here. What are you trying to say, Negro?
Okay. I thought the zoo was cute,
We
but maybe
taking
you
you
don't
to
like.
no damn zoo.
You're like no. So you're like, do I look like? Okay. To each his own. To me, I think the zoo is cute. Going to Sea World is cute, but everyone's different. Everyone's different. Like
That could be part of it. Like, okay, so I do like dinner because I can see what kind of taste he has. I like, actually, no. Didn't you say the date shouldn't be longer than like an hour?
Yeah, no, yeah, because again, you want to incentivize, and this is from experts. This
Mm-hmm.
is from experts. If you want to get married quickly, again,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's goal is different. Our goal is very ambitious. You
Mm-hmm.
want to incentivize him to marry you. If he wants to have all your time in the world, he needs to make you his wife. So when you're seeing him, he's most at best you mostly see him no more than once a week. If he wants to see you more, he needs to marry you.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
if you're somebody who wants a roster, then you can easily maintain that because you're only dating them once a week. But you got ladies who are with their guy every day ever since they go on their first date. Sometimes it works out for them, sometimes it don't. But with my strategy, you're going to discern the men who really like you quickly.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, because the Gottman Institute has a book called Eight Dates. And so at some point in the courtship, they recommend 2 to 4 times you need to be seeing that person a week. That's what they recommend. But and then they specify where you need to be going and what you need to be focusing on, like family, values, da 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 da. But what about calling? How many minutes, I guess, or hours should you be on the phone?
No more than an hour.
Per day though, or per week?
Um, per week.
Okay.
Again, the goal is to get married. If you want to talk to your friend, you can do that as your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife can. That's a privilege. See, this is the thing, Milena. That's the privilege of being a wife. You get to talk your ear off all day. You have
Yeah,
a companion to go to dinner all the time. You are a membership. Do you not understand the Milena membership? The Milena
I do
wife.
understand, but what's coming up for me is like this. Um, so we as the wife though, as a potential wife, have to give him something to want to wife. If he doesn't know us, he only talks to us 1 hour a week. You only see me 1 hour a week. So I guess I would like to know, like, how do you give
Well,
him
you
the
said.
full essence of you in those little
See, there we
bites?
go. You're not. This is not Barlin Bailey circus. Okay,
Mhm.
you're not here to do all these acrobats to prove him. His job is to prove. You're a goddess. Do you know what a goddess is? A
Mhm.
goddess has a lot of mystery. She's not easily accessible.
Mhm.
So your goal is that when you're with him, you're so present. It's like meeting Beyonce. A man should feel like he's meeting Beyonce when he's that type of energy. You think a man should be like, oh, I don't want to marry Beyonce. They're going to talk her once a week or once a month. He's gonna be so enamored. You got Taylor Swift's current boyfriend, that guy football player. He bought a $6 million mansion just to be close to her, so he was more available to be because of her busy schedule.
Mm. Okay.
So what
So
I'm telling you, you can do what's best for you. But what I'm saying is, my strategy is not for the week. So the goal is when you meet somebody for 1 hour,
Mhm.
you meet them once a week per day, 1 hour a day on talking. So if you can't do 1 hour one sitting, then 15 minutes on the phone, no more than 15 minutes if you're gonna
Mhm.
talk to them. The goal is he needs to know, like, I need to get her, I need to lock her down. The goal isn't to give him so much, like, I'm always gonna be here, babe. That's how much of a
Yeah.
wife material I am. So
Right.
so he will get to know you because when you make your essence when you're with him so potent, it's like wearing strong perfume. It still carries on after.
Yeah.
He can't wait to see you next week.
So can we talk about that being so potent, being the strong perfume?
And can you also weave into their shameless, like, Well, more of what you're talking about with the time and stuff. Like I said, I'm started talking. I'm putting that in air quotes. I don't even know how to handle it. Talking to this guy, like you say, only 15 minutes per conversation. How do we, like Melina said,
Yeah,
have a
like
strong,
managing the conversation. Like,
yeah,
what should the
and
first
managing the time.
conversation be
Yeah.
about? And then moving it forward, making sure it's all intentional, right? That he's not sending us on this whirlwind, but that it's also natural and fun and light, but it's also to our advantage and in alignment with the goddess.
Wow, that's a lot. I'm trying to follow. You said all these ingredients to the soup. I'm like,
So basically making the best use of the process. You know what I mean?
I'm working on that. So I appreciate you saying this because I work. So here's the thing. There's a method, and I have the source in the thing because I have my Amazon store. I just need to add it to the thing. There's a method to this. So for you to be really potent for him, you know the intention is marriage from the get-go, right?
Right.
You want to know what type you first get clear what type of brand you're trying to step into.
Mm-hmm.
What type of woman are you trying to project yourself to this person?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know, for example, you're a woman who's vivacious, has a big life, and wants a Gomez Adams, you're gonna have to make peace that you're gonna be a Morticia. Is Morticia gonna be like, well, if I only talk to him once a week and I go out to dates on once a week, how's he gonna marry? You think Morticia is like, excuse me, she's so self-involved in her life, she's bored. That's the whole thing. She's so indifferent.
Yeah.
So I feel like will be planned topics that so you have something to say. You don't have to plan everything you're going to say, but have a general outline of topics that you can focus on something in the stash. So anytime, so the goal is to look good, right? Look good, feel good, smell good.
Mm-hmm.
That's half the work. Then be all about him. You know, part of art seduction is being charismatic, is to ask questions, right? Because you're the vetting. Ask fun questions, not that he's grilling, and then I can help you with the guide, but make him feel fun, right? So so the version of him that he gets on you on this date, he doesn't get all of Milena. You get all of Milena when you get married. So
right.
the Milena that he gets is the one that is someone who's into him, where he feels like he's the only one in the room. But you ask him questions that most people won't ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if I could go back into time in high school? If you played sports, what would your coach say about you? What would your teammates say about you? Stuff that's going to cause him to be nostalgic, where you cause him to feel certain things.
Yeah. I think that's the skill set that I want to empower this
producer. So basically,
conversation.
so that's basically what I'm trying to say. Your goal for dates is just to be a seducer. Your goal isn't to bring the heaviness about your daughter and his kid. He has a kid or bills and stuff. It's just fun. But we can, go into depth in that future. But it's kind of hurts my heart thinking that you have to do so much just for some guy to marry you. It doesn't need to be that deep.
Well, I'm just covering the bases, you know what I'm saying? So you mean seducer like the art of like Robert Greene's book?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That you're the second person to bring that book up.
And the siren too. The siren, irresistible siren. But yeah, because with the seduction, it's just kind of like your goal is like landing the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how to get a job, obviously, because you've been at that place for a good amount of years.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get a man, your goal is to get married, and then we'll have another program to keep it fresh. But the goal is for this man to know you're a hot commodity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want him to make you feel like he's your boyfriend and you don't have the title yet.
Right. Or don't want the title of girlfriend. Just want the title of wife.
Exactly. Does that make sense, Felion? I don't want you ladies to be having pen pals or phone buddies.
That's exactly what, yeah, it makes sense because I'm already finding myself out of my depths. I was like, I know he shouldn't be texting me this much. I know I shouldn't be answering. I don't know how not to answer.
Well,
Um,
trains her devotees.
what'd you say?
You need to train your high priest, and your devotees. This is your temple. So if things are going amok, you gotta self-correct.
That's why
So
I'm
this
here,
man,
shameless.
so,
WWSD.
have you
WWSD.
have you texted
What
him
would
too
Oh,
much?
shameless do?
Yeah, yeah. If he's texting you too much, you be like, oh, you can even use cute, like seductive, or oh, hey, honey, or that might be too patronized, but whatever cute, or hey, yummy, or what a cutie, hey, cutie pie, or something. Hey, cutie pie, I'm so flattered. You just can't get enough of me. Just be very into yourself. Or he's like, I'm so flattered you can't get enough of me, but this is a lot. This is a lot of texting. And just say this is kind of like a lot of the text. Let's slow things down and do your little girly jish with your shoulders that you do really well, and let him know. Or you tell him that once, and then if he sends you 5 text messages, you reply once. Like you don't have to match his energy if it's too much for you.
Yes. Okay. So can you take me back to the beginning? My friend, he called him while I was on the phone with my friend. And so we started talking like that. So I was really caught off guard. I was like, I don't know what to do. And this is obviously, I don't even know what this is, but it's long distance, whatever. Can you map out like what it should look like from the beginning of a long distance courtship or whatever? Like, first day, you should talk for 15 minutes only, get off the phone,
Well,
you
do you
introduce yourselves or
want
what?
this? Do you want to do that?
I want to, this man showed up. I don't know what I want to do. No,
Okay,
no, no.
goddess, you have to. Okay, unless if you don't have a plan, someone's gonna make a plan for you. So you have your boundaries. So it's great that you have birds before landing a suitor, but not every suitor, not every stray that's given to you, you need to take them in and be a foster.
Okay, good. Because I was like, what I was gonna say before I cut myself off, I was like, I'm not even ready for this. I feel like I just want to chit chat when I want to chit chat and let that be it.
But you can be honest and tell your friend that hook you up, like, listen, I appreciate you looking out for me and you care about me. You want me to be with a great guy, but one of my boundaries with my standards, I want someone local. I don't want to do long distance. That's the high risk for emotional unavailability. Usually people like long distance are emotionally unavailable people. The women and the men, it's both sides. Because you have
I
like a
really like
part-time.
that.
Now unless
Ooh,
it's
that's such
temporary,
a weight off my shoulders. I was like, do I have to talk to
you know, so like, we need to get to this is God. You don't need to do anything. Everything's voluntary. Because men definitely they know they're not gonna do something they don't want to do. So you can tell if he's still looking for, or if you still want to deal with him because there's good vibes there. You can make a deadline of how long you're going to be long distance. But I wouldn't recommend for this type of program that you do long distance because it's like you don't even really get a
I
good
don't want
gist
to
for
do
that.
that. But I want to make him my devotee. I think that will be fun, playing seductress, making a devotee.
Well, you try to do that with the last guy, and then your ego got bruised when things go. So you need to make a mental commitment in your brain
Mm-hmm.
on one side that you're gonna be. So if you want a devotee, you have to set the standards. You can't. It's not in your okay. So if you want a devotee, you have to set the standard. Ideally you should not be in a situation where someone's doing something and you feel uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable or it's too much or too little, is as a goddess you must tell people that your needs aren't getting met and for them to meet your needs if they really want to devote to you. So if you want them to be a devotee, I would recommend you work on getting clear on what you want and getting comfortable with setting your standards, especially when it's uncomfortable.
I think
as
that's the practice that I need right now. I think that's it. What were you saying, Melina?
as for me, I'm not collecting any devotees. I only want a husband. I don't want no pen pals, no phone buddies, no strays. I just want my husband. I'm not taking
Exactly.
any applications for anything else. This
Exactly.
guy, my friend's brother, he's such a F boy. Anyway, he asked me on a date on my birthday while I was in California. This Negro is gonna get on the phone with me while I'm talking to her, and it's like, "Did you forget about our date on that I asked you out to?" I'm like, "Do you think I'm chasing you? Did you really think I was waiting for you to ask me to?" I'm only holding the door open for my husband. If you don't get your fool ass off this line, I don't have time for anything else. That's how I feel now. If it
And that's
doesn't
good.
work for me,
That's
it's
what
not
we're talking
happening.
about. So that's what I'm talking about for lying with your sister Millennial. She's very certain in what she wants. Be very certain.
Oh, I'm going to think about it because I don't know. I might want to just chit chat sometimes. That might be something that's valuable to me. I'm going to think about it.
Yes,
Is
think
it
about
worth
it.
wasting your time and going through a whole extra 3 months because you went down that rabbit hole?
Why do I don't even, it's not like I want to be with this person.
Exactly. So why does he get time? Why does he get your energy? You have, okay, this is
One
for
bowl.
me. For me, I'm
Hmm.
in this program for one thing and one thing only. I don't need extra friends. I don't need extra whatever fans. Are you or are you not my person? Because otherwise you're splintering my energy for my person. Because at some point you're going to irritate me. I already know. And it's going to
Split
splinter
your
my
energy.
energy.
Yeah.
You're gonna do something dumb, and I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm gonna have to be annoyed and have the process of being annoyed, even if it's just 24 hours. It's like the wrong
The
direction.
wrong way. Yeah, it's going the wrong way. Ooh, I think this is kind of perfect. Yeah, practicing focus and boundaries and standards and
Yeah, because you're worthy of getting a whole enchilada for lying.
oh yeah, I am.
Okay, you're worthy of because if you're married, would you have time for some devotees? No, unless you're into polyamorous. Are you polyamorous?
No, I'm definitely not polyamorous.
I'm just asking because if you're polyamorous, do your thing. But I don't want to put my goals onto you, so that's why I'm asking. So remember, like, let's stay very certain. The program promises for you to get married by the end of this or have a suitor by the end of this year, right? It wasn't to have devotees and people who do webcam and send you $5 for a shimmering.
See, my mindset just a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, whatever. Remember Shameless? I was like, well, I want a roster. I need a roster.
Right.
That's a lack mentality on my part. Like, no, I
Exactly.
don't need a roster. I don't need anyone to validate me on that level who's just taking up space. Either you are or you're not the guy.
And I remember having that conversation with you, and you were thinking about it. But I also said, you got to do what's best for you. I told you, I don't need no roster. I want the may the best man win. So that's why. I think from now on to our next training for tomorrow, you really get certain and do the work and ask yourself, why do you want devotees? Why do you want a consolation prize in the meantime prior to meeting your spouse?
Well, the reason I said that was because I want someone to chit chat with when I get bored. That's honest.
But you have like 5 sisters and some brothers.
It ain't like that, Shameless. No. Um,
I'm not saying
no.
I talk about intimate stuff, but you have people in your family can have that what do you call it, emotional connection with if you're
Probably
bored.
not. Probably not.
No,
But like for me, it's about filling your life up, right? So when he meets you, you have a full big life, and there's evidence of that. So when I get bored, I'm getting active. Like, okay, who can I meet that's new? Where can I go that's new? What new adventure can I have? Or sometimes I will bring a friend with me. But a lot of times lately, I've just been like, I'm going to have this adventure by myself because number one, I need to pull up the courage to do stuff by myself, and number two, I need to learn how to speak. I need to learn how to have conversations with men. and I can't have it hiding behind a girlfriend or 5.
But remember, when your purpose, while you're creating your post, you could bring those people where you can get that release, where maybe you're hosting a live stream and you're talking to men, right? Because they're obviously your demographic is women, but the men are coming because you're a woman, and so you kind of get that release but in a public space where you're talking, then you get off the app and you go about your day. So I feel like doing your purpose, like showing consistently on social media, you can get that feeling of just talking to someone. But that longing is important for you to attract your person. Your husband can be that for you. The same amount of time for you to attract a devotee is the same amount of time you can attract your husband. So this wrapping things up so far, is there any last final thoughts, and then we'll reconvene tomorrow?
I have final thoughts. You're looking really buff, Shameless. You're looking good, girl.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, your bodies look nice, but you were talking about something.
Your shoulders are popping and everything.
Thank you. Thank you. I was not expecting to say something. I thought you were going to say something else. I'm like, you're like, I got some final thoughts.
No.
I'm going to go to the beach tonight.
Like, actually, 35 partners isn't a lot. That's like, I can tell when Milena wakes up, because she has a pattern. She'll be like, she's like a school teacher looking at her notes. So like, let me catch up. Like, I wake up.
Yeah. Well,
I have blog posts coming up. I'm gonna have something coming up very soon. But yes, are you checking into the daily love notes? Feline, your sister is, because I have little blips of positivity for you to check in. It's a room that you have access to in the membership. It's called Love Notes from the Universe.
But guess what? I love them. I saw one, but guess what? I feel like, I've been focused on this, clearing up my nasty attic that I found out that I had. So, now that I'm like, okay, now I'm going to be just getting on point, basically, with routine and pulling in all the ways that I can to rev up the energy, to add to the bonfire. So I will do it, is the long answer to your question. I will be doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, my blog, whatever comments, we're just so, to get the conversation rolling.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, more people are gonna come in shortly, and then they'll breathe out. But for right now, I show up for we all show up. So that's why I was telling you, you can't control when people come, but you can only control showing up. And eventually, when they come, they're going to be able to binge, what do you call it? Binge read, whatever. So I'm working on it, because I can't control when people come. I can only control me showing up. And then I'm creating something, because I need to batch my stuff, because some days my energy. So I have I have like the group, the Word to Wife stuff batch, but there's other things. So I have certain rooms you're not aware of that I'm creating, but I want it to be scheduled in advance so the consistency is there. So that's what I'm telling you to do. I'm doing it myself. I'm not just telling you the stuff that I'm not doing. So, this is a great time to get on that consistency trains, batch schedule that stuff to take care of the days where you don't feel like, because we're women, we have a 28-day cycle. Some days it's creating, some days it's going inward, other days it's,
sleeping.
Yes. Yes. Well, if there's nothing else, and we convene for tomorrow.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye, y'all. Thank you, Shameless.
Likewise, you have a good one.